Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. Today is going to be a part 2 video where I'm going to be meeting again with Open by Chance and Lady Pop Hunter. And they have like this amazing like toy collection. Like last time I really talked about comics with them, but they had this crazy, it's insane just how big of a toy collection they have. And I kind of wanted them to show a little bit of it because, you know, it's related to comics and it's also something that they have that is just amazing. And I think everybody should see it. So let's invite them into the show here. Let me get them in. And hello. Wait. I picked the wrong layout. Wait.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties, but thanks again for coming.
No problem. We enjoy it.
Okay, so I mean, I was really impressed by your toy collection. I mean, it looks like a store. It looks like you're actually sitting in a store rather than like, you know, your like man-woman cave. I don't know what you call it, but
our private toy and comic museum. We get that sometimes. So people watch us on YouTube on Open by Chance, and I get people contacting me wanting to know where the store is, or if I
it looks like a store.
Yeah,
like actually, it's better than most stores that I know. So
yeah, we wanted to set it up in a way where you can kind of see everything. We did the bookshelves, not knocking bookshelves. If that's what you do, that's what you do. But we had that for a while
because you lose a lot in the depth.
Yeah,
you know, of the shelf.
Yeah, so we found a system that allow us to display each piece so you can see it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's the saddest thing about collecting comics or collecting anything when you can't see your own collection.
Yeah.
You know, what's the point? You know,
hey, you still got it. You still got it. So
yeah, that's the thing. You think, oh, at least it's there, but you never see it. You might like. There's books in my collection I haven't seen for 20 years. You know, it's like, oh,
sure.
You know. So I like the way you have it laid out. Now, how long of a process did it take you to actually get to that point where you had it all laid out?
Well, we have a video up on it from this to that.
Yeah.
When the areas down here were transformed, because this was the basement area was very severely water damaged. It was literally collapsing. And so I trenched the house by hand to a depth of 3 feet all the way around the house so I could reseal it properly, and then cleaned it up on the inside and then rebuilt it, put up the new studs, the new framework, ran new electric, the flooring, the drywall, drop ceiling, all of it.
Yeah, he did it all himself.
Yeah, because
you're very handy.
It's cheaper that way. That it's just the trenching work for resealing. They wanted like $1,000.
Yeah,
and they were using they would be using a small backhoe, and I was like, oh, screw that, get me a shovel and a pick and I'll deal with it. And you know, because the raw materials, it was only a couple $100.
Yeah. This was pre-COVID. We had bought this house because it had a full basement, so the basement covers the entire house, but it was unfinished. I mean, it was no walls, no nothing.
Yeah.
Really, it had electricity, but only one light barely worked.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Okay. So sort of like an old dingy basement, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in rough shape.
Yeah.
And they kept putting dry lock. They kept painting dry lock on the inside, and it's like, you know, that's not where the water's coming from. All that's going to do is bubble up and split. You know?
Yeah.
You're putting Band-Aids on it. So I did it right, so that it would be nice and dry in here. We run dehumidifiers down here anyways, just to maintain the collection.
Yeah.
But and you know, and people who are watching, they can't see it, but this is a 15 by 30 room. So
that's huge.
It goes way out this way, and we have it divided right down the center.
Yeah, we measured it out, and it's exactly in half. So he has one half, and I have the other half.
Wow, that's very
and then it's a hallway and then he got one half of the hallway, and I got another.
Yeah, because there's an ante room going this way that also has the collection in it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's the room in such a way that you have lots of like wall space where you can do a lot of display areas.
Yeah, and that's what all this is. That's a slat wall system, like you in like a shoe store. Because you see all the lines. Because I took something down.
I can see the lines.
I was going to show you something that was sitting right here, and I took it off the wall. But it's a slat wall system, and you can remove and insert shelves. Like right here, that's a full 1 foot shelf with brackets underneath that fit in there. Or I can put in the clear shelves. They make them in like dozens of different shapes and sizes. That's why everything is uniform, because I can set the wall up to fit every piece and then just put the piece in instead of trying to force it to accommodate.
Yeah. You can put hooks in there, like on this little thing right here. You got hooks. So
I'll make you guys big. 1 sec here.
Yeah.
Oh wait. 1 second.
Yeah. I can show you here.
Okay. Yeah. Now I made you guys big so you can see a bit better.
Right. This
that's kind of interesting.
It's completely modular.
Yeah.
So those are that's like a little shelf almost.
Yeah, it's a shelf.
Or
you got the hooks.
The hooks.
Yeah, I've seen the hooks before, like at the stores. Again, your place kind of reminds me of a store.
That's that's the system. And the shelves, any kind of shape and size you can think of, even down angled. They got bins. They have,
can they support much weight though, or?
I mean, you're not gonna put like a. I mean, I wouldn't put
a statue on it.
Yeah, no.
Okay. You can see, I mean, this is snapped in there also, and that's like a 12-13 inch deep shelf, and you hang these brackets on it for shelves, and then put it on. And in a store, this would have like jeans on it or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got the idea actually from a shoe store. It was a shoe store in the neighborhood going out of business.
Yeah, I think it was Payless.
Yeah, Payless or something was going out of business, and we looked at the wall and was like, "Hey, we could use that." And we asked, are y'all selling these? Okay, oh yeah, you can take anything you want out of here.
Yeah.
And we picked out everything we wanted. They gave us a price which was hardly nothing. And
even new at retail, these are cheap.
Yeah, because we needed more. And it's a place around here that sell fixtures for stores. And the system is called a slat wall. And they had some that were damaged.
Yeah.
So we bought the damaged ones, which had like a little nick on it or something.
But you're not going to see that anyways.
You're not going to see it.
Or you can repaint it.
Yeah. And we just spray painted it white in the area that had the nick, and you can't see it.
And they come in like 4x8 chunks.
Cool.
And you can screw them right into the studs. And they, these are different also because you get them in different colors. They even have mirrored ones.
Yeah, so, the mirrored ones are really nice, especially if you're a statue collector.
Yeah,
because statue collectors
you get that reflection in the back.
Yeah,
yeah.
So they have them in mirrors, but again, I would not put any of my statues on this stuff because of the weight.
No.
You have a statue and they're 50 pounds. Or
it might be a bit much for this system, but for like these or even for comics, this would be great for graded books too. If I want to put a row of graded books on that shelf, and I can just move the shelves up to adjust the height.
Nice.
Yeah.
And they've got
how many not comics, but how many toys do you have in your collection? How big of a collection is it?
Oh God, I have mine cataloged. He has his catalog here, but I still don't know how many pieces. I can't tell you how many pieces there are.
Yeah,
it is a lot because everything that we have, him and me, is not on display because everything doesn't fit. So we rotate it around like every 6 months to a year. We'll take everything down and put something else up.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's cool. That's great. So you can always see new parts of your collection, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does change it because you're like, oh man, I totally forgot.
So how about you show some of the comic related toys in your collection?
Okay, yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, let's see.
You gonna put yourself back on the screen?
No, I'm gonna leave you guys big because you guys gotta show it all.
Oh, okay. Okay. So David's gonna
I
go
can show you
first.
some. I only had one piece out, but you remember the Micronauts, which was a Marvel comic, and it's based off of actually a toy line from Takara, and it was modified by Mego in the 1970s.
Wasn't the idea of Micronauts the comic just to promote the toy?
Yeah, well, that's pretty common though. That's done a lot, but then you get the Micronauts figures.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is a completely modular toy system because you can pull them all apart and reconnect them to different things.
Oh, nice.
And this is from 1976 Mego. You see, it's pre-barcode.
Oh, wow.
A lot of spec on that too. Everybody's always wondering when the Micronauts are going to come back, but I think Marty, because Mego is back. They're making Mego action figures again, but he had sold the rights to these.
Oh wow!
So I don't know if he'll ever be able to do Micronauts again. But Marvel, I think they still have their rights.
So yeah, I mean, people have been it's one of those things that have been heard specced on over and over again, but you never see anything.
No, you never see anything. They love doing that. Here's another one. You remember the Humanoids?
Yeah, in Humanoids. That's kind of funny.
And then they had a television run also, a limited after-school kind of television series. But of course, that's also for the promotion of the toys.
Those are pretty substantial boxes.
And this isn't one of the big ones.
Yeah, that's one of the small.
Oh wow!
It goes. There's like varying size differences, and you see that just to give you an example of a couple of these.
Wow!
And I could probably pull him up when you show something, but I do have some of the deluxe ones.
I can grab it.
They're like 14 inches tall.
Oh wow!
And then they have the carded humans, of which there's only 3 people. The rest are all monsters.
So how I'm not as familiar with Humanoids, but how popular was the show?
The show got canceled because the toys weren't selling. See, there's one of the larger scale ones, and that's
that's quite big.
That's Metlar, and these are really, really notoriously hard to find in a box, and with the box in any kind of halfway decent shape either, because they get banged up pretty bad.
And they don't have a window, so you can
just. It looks like it's open, so yeah.
It is.
These did. The smaller ones did. Yeah, watch out for your thing there.
Yeah.
So how do you find these things? Without.
It's not easy. These are like the Inhumanoids are in big demand, so it's really tough. I still have 2 I need to complete the set, and trying to find them for a reasonable price is getting really, really difficult. And then here's, let me see. We all know and love this one.
Oh yeah, awesome Archie stuff. Yep.
The Archies, and the Archies does have toy lines, and although the toy lines are more based on the Filmation Saturday morning cartoon runs, but there's still a strong connection there. And there's 2 sets. And it's actually one of my favorite sets. Is the what year was that? 75? 1975 Marks.
It's sort of almost like a ripoff of Barbie or something like that, or
kind of. It
kind of reminds me of the action figures of that time. So that's Betty and Veronica and Archie.
Yeah. There's Archie. They only did 4 figures and the vehicle. They did the jalopy.
Oh. Okay.
And then,
so the 4th figure being Jughead or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jughead.
Nice.
And
I mean, they look kind of cool. They have sort of like more of the golden age style of Archie's hair and stuff.
It's kind of what it looks like, and I actually really like this series. They had a bunch of outfits for them too, so that you could dress them up. But
change out their clothes.
Not too keen on the outfits, but I love the figures.
Hmm.
And then later on in 1977, Mattel got hold of the license, and they did basically the same thing. They made a set of Archie's figures.
But they're not as good. Sorry.
No.
And the cardboard is flimsy too. This is like cereal box cardboard, and the cardboard on these is solid. It's like shipping boxes.
Yeah, I mean, the other series looks way better.
But they got rid of Betty and replaced her with Sabrina. And they also
is that because the Sabrina show was popular by that time, or
because they had the Filmation Archie had gone through 2 or 3 transitions, and then they came out with Sabrina the Teenage Witch Saturday morning, and that's why they did that. And then there's the Archie. And they made a jalopy for this also. I have the jalopy. It's sitting up there. I don't know if you can see it. I don't think you can.
No, I don't.
But
that's cool. I mean,
they're tough to find.
Yeah, I can imagine. They don't look like they would have, like, a lot of those things you think kids would have just opened up instantly, right?
Well, most of them were. Most of them didn't survive. Actually, I think I got the jalopy right here. I don't have the jalopy for the marks. That's very hard. This one I have.
Oh, that's cute. And so the dolls would actually fit into it, and you could like drive them around and stuff.
Yeah, they give you an example here. Although Jughead fell out.
That's cute.
And then a little strip.
Little Archie comic on the back. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that kind of attention to detail, like where they. Yeah.
But I've always liked the Archies, probably because of the original shows, the old Filmation shows.
Yeah, I haven't watched those shows for maybe since they came out. Like I remember maybe like sort of vague memories of those from when I was a kid.
Yeah,
but that's it.
And here's one that's kind of interesting, and that of course is the
Shogun Warrior.
Mattel Shogun Warriors.
Yeah, I always felt like that was a Transformers kind of ripoff.
Well, no, this predates Transformers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it predates Transformers, and that's the 1978 I think was the comic, but they started producing them in 1977, and here is actually the figure that's on the cover.
Oh wow!
They're called jumbo machinders because they're all roughly about 2 feet tall, but they were made in different sizes, and I'll show you an example here in a minute. This is the Raideen, and if you turn him, he's actually a bird. I don't know if you can see.
Eyes.
Yeah, kind of like a bird. This is version 1 because there are variants.
Now, did they transform in any particular way, or just?
No, there's no transformations. They originally were made by Popey in Japan, and Mattel got the rights to it and copied the designs, but they dumbed the designs down a lot. The original Popey ones, which are immensely expensive, it's not unheard of to pay $20,000 or $30,000 for a Popey.
Wow.
Yeah, that they were they had much greater detail. That's a version 1. Mattel went through a couple of incarnations. Guy King from Mattel, for example. The Popey, I love the missile firing nipples there.
Yeah, it looks like it's like his eyes are popping out.
and they do fire.
That's really cool.
Missiles are spring-loaded launching. But
cool.
the Popey version of this that this is copied from, actually, it has a big clamp-on shell of what is supposed to be a lion's face here that protrudes out. And Mattel was like, "No, that's too expensive. We'll just blow mold the chest." Uh, and all of them came with interchangeable fists.
Oh,
And
cool.
Mattel did away with that. So you would buy this, you get a couple of sets of fists that had different functions. And they're like, no, we'll give them one functional fist, like this one launches. And then
so not as cool as the Japanese version.
No, the Japanese versions are much better. And this one is an example of the size variance, because this is actually a rather extensive line. This is Dragon.
It kind of almost reminds me of Spider-Man.
Yeah, some people call it Dragon, and this is version 3. And the way I know it's version 3 is because he doesn't have buzzsaws on the arm, because Mattel did away with that. But Mattel made these in different sizes.
It sounds like Mattel's like making all the toys not as fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the 5-inch die cast.
Oh, that looks really cool.
For this same figure, 5-inch die cast.
Yeah, he has like more details.
Yeah, there's a lot more detail. And again, all they did was copy a lot of pulpy designs.
Mm-hmm.
It was legal, but they had a license. But
yeah.
And then a 3-inch die cast.
Oh wow!
So, and those are the ones that Mattel made. You see, there's like a large variety. So if you were really into this, there would be a lot. And then I don't have the comic handy, but there's a comic for this. They still make comics for this one. This is the Godzilla from the same series.
Oh wow!
Because there's a Godzilla in that Mattel Shogun series, who for some reason is much smaller than the other. The robots tower over Godzilla.
Whereas probably in the movies, it was like they were roughly the same size, or maybe the robot was slightly smaller.
Yeah, and this is version 3 of the Mattel version with his, they call it a tongue, but that's actually flame.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he's got a little switch on the back, which is often broken. And he has you see there's a button here because fist launches.
Oh, shoot off?
Yeah, and it works really well. This'll fly like 15, 20 feet if I press it. I don't want to screw with it.
So definitely will take out an eye.
Yeah, and then he's got little wheels.
Oh, he's got roller skates.
So
cool.
that you can roll them around. And this is the most heavily modified. There's 3 versions because they kept changing it. The first one is like this bright lime green, and consumers were like, why is he that green? So Mattel changed it to this dark green. And then the 3rd version is because of this switch. You see how this it comes out like this, like a little triangle.
Yeah.
Trying to show. The original version doesn't have that, and the switches kept breaking.
Okay.
But the original Popey version doesn't have this big dopey head. This big fat Godzilla head. It has more of a streamlined head that looks more like the classic Godzilla. And he's a pull string talker.
Oh, cool.
He has a ring that you would pull, and he has like a little speaker on his front. And basically all he does is growl and bark. You pull the string. Yeah. And he still has the launching fist though, because it's Japan.
Oh, that's cool. So how much would those kind of ones go for?
This one loose in really good shape, 400-500.
Oh wow!
If you have
the box.
With the box, it's a lot more. Boxes are usually in really rough shape. I have a box for the Dragon over here. I think I have the boxes, but they're usually in pretty bad shape, so I keep them put away. But like this is Dragon's box.
Oh, okay.
And it's just a photograph on the front of the toy with his accessories, which I have as accessories. I can show you here because they all have stuff that they throw and launch. Everybody's got firing rockets and stuff like that. Cool. Like this is a launching mechanism that snaps onto the forearm here.
Oh, okay.
And it shoots these little plastic
throwing
stars.
stars.
Yeah, they fly out of here. And then his arm, I don't know, you probably didn't see it, but the fist here has a slot and a little switch. And it throws these axes.
Oh, wow.
So you set the axe in here and you pull the switch and it spins out.
This is back when toys were, before lawsuits.
And Ray Dean also has he shoots these little bird missiles out of his chest.
Oh, cool.
See this that's what this mechanism is for. So you plug
nice.
these in here and then you push that and it launches out of his chest. And all this stuff still works. That's the incredible part, is that these mechanisms are all functional. And you get a toy today and it'll break like immediately and then it'll never work again in life.
Yeah.
All the batteries and all the junk that they put in those.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do some of yours?
Go ahead.
Alan. You had a question?
Lady Pop Hunters. Yeah, no, I was going to say, let's see some of Lady Pop Hunter's stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Give her a chance.
So I'll start little and then I'll get big. So Strawberry Shortcake. She actually has a comic.
Yeah. It's expensive.
No, they're not too bad. Strawberry Shortcake comics aren't so bad, but she does have a comic. And this one I figured out from you. Care Bears. I didn't know Care Bears had a comic until I saw it on your channel. You had I think it was Care Bears #1.
Yep, I collect a lot of nostalgia buys,
Yeah, and the Care Bears comics are pretty expensive. They can get up there. But I do have the toy line, the records, lunch boxes, toy boxes, stuff like that.
And that's the this is the Kenner.
Yeah, both of these are Kenner.
Yeah, this is because Kenner made an action figure line, and that's what this is. It's a 5.
Did you watch Care Bears when you were a kid?
Yeah, I watched it when I was a kid. I did.
Care Bear Stare. Care Bear
Stare. Raggedy Ann. Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to get everything in. And they have a bunch of different comics. Like this is the first original one that came out when, like the 40s
1946, Dell.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they have a later one that came out in the 60s.
Yeah.
And this is the Knickerbocker toy line, action figure line. So I have it was just Raggedy Ann and Andy, and then I have the toy box, the house, stuff like that to go with it. But it's actually a pretty cool set.
I actually had Andy as that was my very first doll as a kid. That was what they gave me. Like when I was maybe like 2 or 3 years old.
Of course, everybody knows Batman.
Batman, nice.
Yeah, and this is the Toy Biz for the '89 Batman. And I also have the animated figures. Batman the Animated Series. Those figures also, but I just brought this one from Toy Biz.
Now, which do you prefer, the animated series or the '89 series?
I really like the animated series because I watched that when it was out. I watched it, and then we watched it again recently on DVD. And I didn't realize how in depth the storyline was.
Yeah, it's quite well done.
Yeah, it's well done. The voice acting
really wasn't meant for kids, a lot of it, and you see that with some of the interaction with Harley Quinn and the Joker.
Yeah,
there's one in particular where she's literally she's in a teddy. She's wearing like lingerie, and she's crawling on the desk in front of him, and she was like, "Hey, Joker, you want to get up and rev on your Harley?" and
wow.
and then he smacks her and tells her to
Wow.
get out of his way. And it's like, what the heck is going on here? But
Yeah.
there's some bits like that in there if you're paying attention.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's well done. And if you look at like best TV shows, like top 100, it's always in the top 20 or the top 15.
Wow.
Batman the animated series is always up there, and it's a good one to watch.
It's one of those ones you have to rewatch as an adult to get the
Yeah.
full.
Yeah, because when I watched it,
Stuff
in
like
the
that will go
90s,
over your head when you're a kid.
Yeah.
I totally missed all that, but like I said, we rewatched it. I bought the DVD set, we rewatched it. I'm like, man, this show is better than I remember, because I remember in the 90s, I was already out of cartoons. But I would purposely watch that one.
Yeah.
And I remember liking it. And then when I became an adult, I was reminded of it again, and I looked for it and started watching it again. I was like, man, this is actually really good. The Shadow. And
nice.
I collect the Shadow comics. I need 2 more to complete my run. It's not a big run. The I
So
have
is that
like,
the DC Shadow run? Is that
yeah,
what
the
you're talking
DC, the DC Shadow, not the one from the 40s or
40s.
whatever. Not that one, not the Golden Age. I have the
Mhm.
Silver Age, or maybe it's bronze. But
And there's
the
even a Shadow Pulp collection as well. It goes back into the 30s.
yeah, we saw the Shadow movie last night from 1937, I think. Oh man,
Wow.
that was hard to watch.
Oh, really? Why? Was it bad or?
It was.
It was like a classic detective story kind of thing, and he appears as the Shadow one time
Yeah.
for like maybe 20 seconds.
Oh,
And
wow.
and you can even hardly see him because he's in the background.
Yeah, and then the movie, of course, is in black and white,
Yeah.
and you're sitting there the whole time wondering who is the Shadow, when is the Shadow coming out, and as the movie progresses on, you're like, is this guy the Shadow? And you're like, no, he can't be the Shadow, and you come to find out he is the Shadow, and you're looking for a guy in the hat and the cape and doing all of this, and then he sneaks in the house, and you're like,
That's
come
it.
on.
Come on.
Wow, that sounds really bad.
It's kind of like if you ever watched the original Batman serial, like 40s, and they go into Wayne Manor, and Wayne Manor looks like your average house, but it has a butler. And then the Bat Cave is like a room in the basement with a desk, and you're like, come on.
They probably just didn't have the budget.
Yeah. Thundercats, which
yeah?
I only have a few. I think I only have one Thundercats comic. But I have it mounted on the wall, so I couldn't take it down.
Now is the time to pick that comic up. It's really lost a lot of value, so it's kind of.
Has it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one is the Mattel from the Maddie Club.
Yeah.
I do not have the LJN.
I have one I can show you if you want to see it.
He has 2.
Yeah.
LJN
got a couple of
ones. I don't like the LJN version. I personally don't. So I always get either the Bandai, Mattel, or Super 7.
Yeah, this is
the other version looks more fancy. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Well, it's 1985 LJN. What do you want? You're lucky that they did this well with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it still looks nice, but it's not as isn't as fancy.
Yeah, they don't have the detail like on the Mattel, and Super 7 did a lot of detail, and I just like it better. It has a better look. It's more pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, it looks more expensive, if that makes sense.
Yeah. One of my favorite comics, Swamp.
Oh, Swamp Thing.
Yeah. And this is actually, let me take it out of the case so you can see it. This is actually from the cartoon.
It's not mint anymore.
Oh, it's still mint. This is from the cartoon that came out in the, I think, 90s.
Late 90s, like 89.
Yeah.
80s, rather, like 89 or something.
Yeah, it was a bad cartoon. Oh my God. It was pretty bad.
It was canceled after five
episodes.
Yeah,
and it was mainly to sell the toys. So the toys are actually pretty cheap. But I love the Swamp Thing comics. I read the Bronze Age, all of the Bronze Age, and 2 volumes of Alan Moore's. So, and then I think I'm one of a few people that actually like the 2019 Swamp Thing. I actually liked it. I thought it was
the
pretty
TV
good.
show.
The TV show.
Yeah, I liked the TV show.
And honestly, that was my first introduction to the Swamp Thing. I had never heard of Swamp Thing before because I wasn't into comic books or comic book movies or TV shows. But that was on, and I was like, okay, I'll watch it, and I really liked it. But it was way different, of course, than the original storyline. But I still think it was a well done TV series. I hate that it got canceled.
Yeah, I was talking about that on a recent live stream, where I was, talking about the James Gunn announcement and all that stuff with Swamp Thing, and I'm really excited that they're going to be making Swamp Thing.
Yeah,
and,
I hope they say they're going to make it into a horror. I hope so, but I hope they pick one of the stories that's one of the good stories, or most likely they probably make up their own story.
Yeah. That's where they'll blow it.
Yeah, but yeah, I want to see that and what they're doing with the Batman, because I like the Batman. I'm one of a few that like the Batman with Patterson or whatever his name is. And
I mean, there was parts of that I liked, parts of it I didn't.
Really? I loved it. I actually really liked that. And I liked the Joker movie with
Joaquin. Oh, that was a good movie.
Yeah. And I liked the fact that they said they weren't going to touch those 2 movies. That wasn't going to be included in the new whatever, because I didn't want those movies I didn't want those touched because I like them so much.
Well, they're making a second movie with Patterson, I believe.
Yeah.
And in terms of just quickly back to Swamp Thing, I think what they'll do is probably an origin story.
Okay.
That'd be my guess. I'm not sure. I'm
not sure because they just said horror film. And I saw the one from the 80s. Did you see the 80s movie?
No.
It's a made for TV. It's a 2-parter. It's pretty bad.
It's one of those, like, it belongs on Riff Tracks. It's bad, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah, if you ever watch Riff Track on Mystery Science Theater, it belongs on that show.
I think that's the problem with Swamp Thing in general, that he will kind of look hokey if you don't, make him correctly, right?
Yeah, because this guy had on a suit.
It was a rubber suit.
He had on a rubber suit.
Yeah. You were looking for the zippers.
They did an origin story, but they changed it, and they actually put that story in the comic. It was one of the annuals. So they changed it up a lot. And you watch it and you're sitting there and you're like, this is not the Swamp Thing storyline. And then at the time I was still reading the 70s version, and that was the last story that they wrote. So they wrote it. I don't know if they wrote it for the movie, but they wrote that, and it was the movie, and it read exactly like the movie played out. But it was still bad.
Still bad. Oh well.
Okay, everybody knows He-Man.
Oh, I'll make you big again.
Okay. Everybody knows He-Man.
Yeah.
So, the He-Man Masters of the Universe comics, and I have a good size Masters of the Universe toy collection. So I have the original 80s version. Maddie Club came out with another version in the 2000s. I have that, and then they had another cartoon, the 3rd iteration, 200X that came out in the 2000s. So I have that toy line, and then the Super 7 toy line, and then some of the Origins, not all, because I'm kind of done with Masters of the Universe. But yeah, Masters of the Universe.
So
and
is it hard to get those ones like where it's complete like that, or?
It's not hard. It's expensive.
That's
So,
maybe that's a better question.
Yeah.
Some pieces are very rare.
Yeah.
And she has some that people spend years looking for, but you know, a lot of them, it's like the GI Joe, and that kind of ties in. Also, you see a lot of the a raw era GI Joe stuff here, and they had a comic run that was actually very popular, the GI Joe comic run, but you can find it. It's just expensive.
Yeah, and it's just like comics. You have some comics, you can find it, but you're gonna pay for it. You know what I mean? And then the condition.
How many ASM 300s are on the census?
Yeah. And then it's all about condition. The better the box, because I'm an in the box collector. So if you want it in the box, you're gonna pay more. And then of course, how well is that box? Does it look like it just came off of the presses, or it looked like somebody ran over it?
See, like that one is extremely rare. This will hardly ever come up for sale.
Yeah.
I think because it's like a larger set, maybe.
Yeah, the 2-packs are usually like exclusives, like Montgomery Ward or Sears or J.C. Penney or something, and they have 3-packs with figures and 2-packs with an animal or a vehicle. But these are really, really tough to come by. Yeah. So that one is really rare, as opposed to like the He-Man. It's just popular.
Yeah. And then you can find them loose. If you want it loose, you can find that real, fairly cheap. But I look for stuff in the box.
Because whenever I go to a flea market, there's always like a box like by somebody's table with just all these very well used He-Man toys. I've always, every flea market I go to, I see that.
And they probably want a fortune for it too.
Yeah. Depends on the place, but usually, they're pretty beaten up. Seeing them in the box is kind of cool.
Yeah, I have 2 more to show you.
Okay.
This one, Twilight.
Oh, Twilight Zone. Oh, nice.
Yes, let me take it out of the thing.
Is that Ron Sterling?
Rod Serling.
Yeah, not this one, not this person. That's Henry Bemis from one of the episodes, because they made characters based on various one of the most popular episodes.
That's Regis Meredith.
Yeah.
So what was that episode about?
He was the last man on Earth.
Oh, he's the guy with the broken glasses.
Yeah, the librarian.
Yeah, the librarian.
Yeah. I love that episode. That was great.
Yeah. And this one it's not rare. It's not rare. It is hard to find, and it's the most expensive in the set. But the rest of them are easy to find in their pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So how many would be in the collection?
Right there.
Let me see. I can see it. I think it's like 12 or 15. So I have the whole set. But the Twilight Zone has a I don't know if you want to call it a comic.
They had a comic.
Yeah. It's a comic. I have some of them.
Because it was Gold Key, right? I think.
I don't know, but
Gold Key. Gold
Key, because it was a big magazine size. So I don't know.
And they also did it in Dell as well.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I have a few. I don't remember who made it though. And then I have one more, and then we can talk about whatever you want.
Oh wow.
Transformers.
My grade 6 version of me would have loved that.
And that's that is the original Mattel. I mean, not Mattel, Hasbro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the G1 Optimus Prime.
And there is such a thing as a G0.
Yeah.
Because Takara Diaclone was doing it. When Hasbro got the rights to that, they got the rights from Takara, who was making them in 1974. So they're copies of molds of toys and figures from 74.
Mm-hmm.
And she has an example of that with Megatron, actually.
Yeah.
Because she has the G1 Megatron, and then what I guess you would call the G0 Megatron, which is a world of difference between the two, because Hasbro went real cheap when you compare the two of them next to each other.
Yeah, and it transforms into a gun, and you can actually shoot it.
Yeah.
It comes with
wow.
It comes with its own little bullets, like plastic bullets or whatever, and it fires, because we tried it and it still works. So you know.
And they're die cast.
Yeah.
This is the G1 Hasbro.
Yeah, this is Hasbro, and it's already transformed into the gun.
Yeah.
And then this is oh, go ahead. Say.
Yeah. So I was just gonna quickly ask, like, so how robot-like does it look? Like, is it?
It's identical.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks.
It's identical as what the robot there. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really great.
This is look, if you look on the back here, you can see it's the same exact toy. But this is 1974 Takara. And they call it, they didn't have a name for him yet. See, it says Walther P-38 Uncle.
Oh, well.
Yeah, and
that's way more impressive. It looks like it has like you know, you could actually be a professional assassin or something like
and
that.
these are bullets. Yeah, that's why it's like a briefcase.
Yeah.
It's got a row of bullets, and the gun is die cast.
Is that like a dagger in behind as well?
Yeah, he's got a sword.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
right
here.
Yeah. That's really great.
So
I mean, both are pretty amazing, but yeah, I can see that. I can see that there is that difference.
And these are really hard to find.
Yeah.
Any of the original Takara versions are very difficult to come by.
Yeah. They don't come up, and I found it on eBay, and somebody was sleeping on it.
They had to buy it now on it. It was like insane.
Yeah, they had to buy it now, and I had to get David to come and look and verify the price for me, because I couldn't believe it. And it was 100% complete. So I was like, oh, let me get this before somebody else picks it up. Because it's one of those things that hardly ever comes up. And then when it does, and it's complete and in the box, you got to make a move before somebody else makes a move. So, one sec here. I'm going to go back to us again. So all right.
So yeah, so is it the case that like, you know, I know the comic book market size, right?
Yeah.
But whenever I go into my old local comic shop, the guy would always said that he would do more toys than comics, even though he was a comic shop. Are you finding that to be the case, that the toy market is, like, the toy community bigger than the comic community, or which do you feel?
Well, when we go to the comic shows, it is packed. It is absolutely packed there. But mostly it's people sifting bins. There's not too many people that are looking to throw down big money on wall books, although that does happen. I mean, the wall books move. A lot of them do, depending upon the price ranges. But yeah, the bins are packed out.
Yeah.
But I think the problem is modern toys will still sell. You know, people get the Marvel Legends and the Marvel Blacks, you know,
Star Wars Black
the Star Wars Black series, and you know, whatever else, NECA. People will still buy the modern stuff, but the modern books, people don't really seem to want them. They might be hunting for a specific variant, really just for the cover, but they're not reading this stuff. So, and we've talked to several dealers at some of the comic shows, and they're like, I'm at a point where I'm considering just cutting my contract with Diamond and just sticking to vintage books.
Yeah.
Anything pre-2000 will sell. All this modern stuff, it's just piling up on me, and I can't move it. And
it's hard to sell.
Yeah. I mean, you have a few like that comes out, like Invincible and Walking Dead. You know, you have those.
You get a star occasionally.
Yeah, but it's not like golden, silver, bronze, copper, where everything sells.
Everybody wants it. Yeah.
Everybody wants Spider-Man, no matter what it is, even just to fill out the collection. But this newer stuff, it seems like it's like almost like the new TV shows. They just pop up and go away, pop up, go away.
Yeah.
You forget. They're very forgettable.
They're forgettable. They don't last. They don't have staying power. So people don't want it. And now the sellers don't even want to be bothered.
Yeah, they're stuck.
Yeah, they said, like he said, we talked to a few. They're not going to even sell new books anymore because they can't get rid of them.
So whenever I go to toy stores nowadays, like I used to go to toy stores fairly often because my son's a certain age, right? And I found that toy stores are not the way I remember it from when I was a kid. Like, your background is much more the way I remember the toy stores being. Where nowadays I find toy stores are much more either digital like entertainment or Funko Pops. Like the Pops are kind of, and it's not kids buying those, it's like the adults buying those. It's kind of weird. So
and a funny contrast on that too, because that's a big complaint now with Hasbro, because they've gone to windowless boxes because they claim saving on plastic. We're helping the environment. What are your toys made out of, Hasbro? Just asking. But we're saving on plastic. We're going to help the planet, and nobody likes windowless boxes because they're afraid people are going to steal accessories or Build-A-Figure parts out of the boxes, and you won't be able to tell till you get home with it. But the contrast that's interesting there is you're seeing a rise of theft in packaging in action figures, but it's people in our age category doing it.
Yeah, because we're the ones we're the ones that buy the stuff.
Yeah.
Not 10-year-old Jimmy.
Yeah.
He's not buying nothing because he don't care. He just want the latest cell phone, the latest video game.
He's not buying a $30 Star Wars figure.
Right. It's Jimmy's dad that took the parts out of that.
And one of my favorite ones, and I told the Mego Fonzie.
Yeah.
Mego had the Fonzie, the new one that came out a couple of years ago, right? And I saw a bunch in the Target, and I was like, because I was thinking, do I want to get a Mego Fonzie? There was a half a dozen of them hanging on the peg. Every one of them, the package had been split open, and the comb had been stolen out of them.
Yeah, because it came with a hair comb.
Yeah.
Who did that? It had to be somebody in my age group.
Yeah.
But
the kids wouldn't know.
I want a little tiny comb.
Yeah, what are you gonna do with a comb?
Man.
So that's really messed up. That's really weird.
It really is.
Yeah.
But this here, one more I just grabbed here really quick because she's showing some Batman. There's something that most people will probably never see.
Okay, wait, let me make you big again.
That is Batman.
Oh, wow.
In a little motorized, what looks like a bumper car.
It looks very strange.
And this is made by Marx, Louis Marx. I think it's 1961, and it's called the Batcraft.
Is it supposed to be a flying, like almost like a rocket ship or something?
Yes, like how Dick Tracy had that bucket he fly around in. I guess it's something like that.
Wow.
But it looks like a bumper car. And you see the bat symbol on the front there.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre, and it's actually really rare, this toy, which I found actually not too long ago at the Retro Toy Swap.
Yeah.
That we go to.
It's a toy swap that comes up every other month around here.
Yeah, it's about every 6 months.
And we go to that, and it's fun.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of old and new toys out there.
Yeah.
Is it hard to appraise these things or know what the value is? Or
it can be, because I've got a lot of stuff, because I know the go-to answer, a lot of people who have a lot of knowledge about toys, and people ask them, like on Facebook or Instagram, what is this, how much is this, and they're like, look it up in eBay completed auctions. You're not gonna find it in eBay's completed auctions. Or like you see, I've got some of this stuff up here. Let me see.
Yep.
These pieces are the product people from like 1975, 1976. You're not going to find box examples in completed auctions. Box examples of some of those might not come up for years on eBay. I've been 16 years trying to complete that set. I still need one piece.
Oops.
And there hasn't. I need the Frankenberry to complete the General Mills set.
Yeah.
And there hasn't been one up on auction in a box for like 4 or 5 years. You know, so there's certain.
It's one of those things where the price could be whatever the person wants, because
you kind of have an idea of what it might go for, but
is there anything? Sorry, is there anything like GPA or Go Collect kind of version?
No,
toys? I don't think so.
Toys. No,
I don't think so.
Not at all. I mean, the only way, and I talked to an insurance person that does collections, and they want value of every piece.
Yeah.
And they were like, just go on eBay, find it in completed auctions, and put the value down.
Yeah. But
and I'm like, half of this stuff you can't find. I mean, the stuff you can find, the stuff you can't find.
What are you gonna do?
Because you know, they don't check everything, but that might be the one piece they check. You know, everything you can't find, so you kind of gotta, I don't know, I guess you gotta wing it or something.
Yeah, gotta kind of get a feel for it. Like, I've got an idea about what that would be worth. You don't have anything you can reference, and you know that guides are worthless.
They're
good. Guides are always out of date, right? So
they're good. They're good for reference, but as far as pricing, it's almost pointless to have prices in them.
Yeah, and I mean, with comics, at least you got kind of like a baseline, even though it's not accurate, because it doesn't account for comic shows
or loose.
And all the market that nobody sees, right?
Yeah, we sell each other books. It's not going to account for that, you know. But at least you got kind of something to go by. In the toy industry or market, you don't have any.
So is it just because the toy collecting hobby is a little bit newer or just younger?
Well, it's been around. It's been around for a really long time. Actually, it's just a bit when we were kids, because you remember. Primarily of what people are interested in nowadays is action figures and action figure genre. But what was the first time action figures became popular? 1964.
Yeah.
You can't hardly. We have a series we've been doing. You know, 80s action figures that are still inexpensive, 90s action figures that are still inexpensive, and we can do one for the 70s. We have one planned for the 70s. And someone asked if I could do one for the 60s. I can't, because there aren't hardly any action figures from the 60s. G.I. Joe, a couple of G.I. Joe clones, Major Matt Mason. There's really not much.
Yeah.
Gabriel did like James Bond and Man from U.N.C.L.E., which are essentially dolls, really.
Yeah.
There really is nothing. So, but in that era, and even when I was a kid, you had your adult toy collectors, cap guns, model trains, tin type toys, stuff like that. You know, costumes.
So how about earlier toys? Did you guys ever get into collecting, like, you know, some of the earliest toys that I can think of are like the Disney stuff from the 20s and 30s even?
I've got some early stuff. I've got like it depends. Some odds and ends. Like I have the deluxe reading battle wagon, which is a motorized battleship. The thing is like huge. It's on the floor back here. You can't really hardly see it. I don't think you can see it.
No, you can't see it.
I've got it.
We'll do a part 3 and you can show it.
It's from 1961, and it's like mine still works. It's fully motorized, and it was sold in supermarkets at Christmas. And another one I just recently picked up. You a Doctor Who fan?
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Watch this. I just came across this at the Retro Toy Swap.
Yeah, last Saturday he picked this up.
This thing is nuts.
Is it the robot thing? Yeah.
It's it's from Berwick, and it's a Dalek child's play suit, like a Halloween costume.
Oh wow!
Of a Dalek.
Yeah. So it got the helmet and the little
that's really
outfit
funny.
he put on.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's quite.
I can show you the headpiece here real quick.
Wow!
It's
so
like,
now you can cosplay as Derlick.
As a Dalek.
Oh, I would not walk around with him if he put this
on. And then
on.
you know you got the little thing there. There's his camera.
Oh, that's really cool. Here, I'll get it. Make it big again. One second.
It's like the cheapest thing in the world. I mean, this is spray painted cardboard.
Oh, that's cardboard?
Yeah, this is cardboard, and it's got.
Oh, it looks metal.
Yeah. I thought it was metal. I never touched it.
And it's got these vinyl, like it feels like pleather. Actually, it's like artificial leather.
Wow.
Buckles, and this goes over your shoulders to secure it to your head, and then it's
oh
got
my
this,
goodness.
It's got this.
I can't imagine a kid wearing that, but sure, it's very cool.
It's got this gigantic plastic or vinyl smock with holes for you to hold the weapons.
Wow.
I was going to showcase it. I can't pull it all out here because it's just too awkward.
Oh, you got to wear it.
Yeah, I don't think it'll fit. But
wow, that's crazy.
This is yeah, and it's in the box. But even on the picture, you can see its little hands. See the little kid's hands?
Oh yeah. He's
are holding what's essentially like a toilet plunger and a piece of blow mold plastic that's been taped to a wooden stick.
Wow.
To be the gun. But this was made in 1965 for BBC Studios by Berwick.
Wow, I can't imagine many kids buying that at that time.
I can't imagine any surviving in the box.
Yeah.
I just, you know, stuff like this. I mean, this is very, very early. And this is almost 50 years old now.
Yeah. Really crazy.
Toys from this era. Or I have like another one from 61. Let me see if I can grab this here.
Oh, wow, that thing?
Yeah. This is from 1960. I think it's 1961 Marks. The Disneykins from their Tinykins collection.
Oh, wow.
And this is actually the store display. And
yes, so it has all the figures.
Yeah, all the figures from the Disney set are basically glued onto the stairs of this display.
Well, that's cool.
And there's two versions. One is like the castle, and then there's this one, which is the filmography version, because you see it's like film. Yeah. The camera up here. There's no reference for this one, so I can't even tell you what it's worth. I have no idea.
Like, to me, I always like those kind of things, the displays, because you know, it does present it well. You know, obviously.
Yeah, that looks great, and I couldn't pass it up when I came across it. I was like, you know, for what he was asking, and I know what the other display sells for, and I've never seen this one.
That's really nice.
So, I mean, I do have some earlier stuff, but it's primarily what I have is action figures and action figure related toys. Put that back.
Right. So once you get back.
Yeah, I'm not that far.
So just based on the time, I'm gonna probably wrap it up. But I really like the problem is we never have enough time. And you know, probably we'll need part 5 or 6 to get through it. maybe more. But yeah, it was really interesting seeing these toys. Just quickly, I asked this last time as well, but what are you guys working on? Where can people find more about you guys?
We have the YouTube Open by Chance.
Yeah.
And then
which will be in the link in the description. Okay.
Yeah. And I have a YouTube also. And then he also has Facebook.
Open by Chance
on Facebook and Instagram. I think it's Open by Chance on Instagram.
Everything.
And you're Lady Pop Hunter. So you gotta
Yes.
say your channel, push it.
I know. I don't. Yeah, I put stuff up. You know, comics, toys, stuff like that. But most of the stuff is on the Open by channel.
Yeah, that's the primary channel.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like it's just a different genre. Like I do enjoy the fact that you really explain a lot of the stuff on your channel about the different toys, and actually you even do comics quite well.
Yeah,
so
and I had interesting pickups too that I was going to show you, but
we could get we can do that the next time, I guess.
We'll have to do another one.
Okay.
Definitely. So yeah, so thanks again for coming on the show. And yeah, we'll stay tuned. I want people to comment. You got to like this, and you got to go over to this channel. Say, hey, we want to see you on Comic Collector Geek some more.
Yeah, please do come and check us out and check out our contest.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the contest that we have.
So you win. Can you go? There's a giveaway for all the toys behind him.
Oh,
no.
Really?
So yeah. So yeah. Thanks again, by the way.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see
Bye
you.
for now.